All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Clarence Jr. from Breaking Down the Bulldogs. And as you can see, we have a very interesting conversation that we are going to have over the next 10 days or so. So, what we're going to do is we're going to rank all of the football coaches in the CIAA from starting at 10 and going all the way up to 1. Now, I know that there are 11 coaches, but the coach at Ciaa, Mr. Manigold, this is his first year, so he will not be ranked this year because he has no record as of now. So if we do this again next year, then we'll be ranking him from 11 to 1. But starting this year, we're going 10 to 1. Before I get too deep into this thing, though, I want to make one thing clear. As I spent more and more time in the CIAA space and breaking down and looking at the sports and the coaches and everything and just growing as a man overall, what I've realized is we have to be mindful of how we present things and how we cover things, right? Because one thing I've noticed about, just in the sports world in general, is that it is very easy for us to say, oh man, why can't he do this? Why can't this person do that? If they could just lock in, they don't even know all the potential that they have, and they could do this and they can do that. It's very easy from the outside looking in to say that. But what I've come to realize is that the same thing applies to us as grown adults and individuals. Meaning, just like we can look at a professional athlete or a college athlete or coach and say, if they would just do this, they could be at this level, or they're not as good as this person, or they're not using their full potential, or they're not this and that. The same thing can be applied to us, and no matter what field we're in, right? We can apply it to our physical fitness. We can apply it to our job performance. We can apply it to our content and our platforms. And so I'm not going to judge somebody based upon, do I believe they're reaching their full potential when I haven't reached my full potential in my own life, right? Like, in my personal opinion, this platform is not even close to reaching its full potential. So how can I sit here and not having reached my full potential and look at a coaching staff and say he ain't reached his full potential? So I'm not coming at it from that angle. And so in this video, we're not going to be giving out any rankings. In this video, the formula is what I'm going to be putting out. The system. How did we rank the coaches? Because I'm not ranking on potential, what I think somebody might do, what schools I like, what schools I don't like, what school I went to. It's completely numbers based. I sat and I spent the time and I came up with a formula for this thing. That's what I did the entire time. I developed a formula. And based on the pure numbers, these coaches are ranked. So hopefully no one is upset or mad or offended, because once again, this is not personal. This is not me attacking you as a man. This is not attacking anybody's legacy. This is not, oh, well, he's not living up to his full potential. This is not none of that. It's strictly the wins and the losses. And it's based on what's already been done. But obviously, with the season coming up, all of this can change in a positive way or a negative way. All I'm looking at is the numbers of what was done and saying, okay, based on this, you're here, that's it. All right. With that being said, let me go ahead and roll out the formula for how these grades and these rankings were developed. And as you're going to see, it's strictly based on the numbers, nothing else. All right, so here we go. How was this list developed? We're ranking the top 10 coaches in the CIAA, football coaches. And so there are 7 criteria points. First criteria point is your overall record. If your record is 500 or above, meaning you win at least half of your games, you get a point for that. If you win 55% of your games, you get 2 points. And if you win 56% of your games or more, you get 3 points. Then there's the conference record. There's your overall record. And then there's what do you do in the CIAA? Your conference record. If you are 500 within the conference, meaning you win half of all your conference games, you get a point for that. If you win 55% of all your conference games, you get 2 points for that. And if you win 56% or higher of your conference games, you get 3 points. All right? Then there's the next category. What is your record versus the top of the conference? Now, once again, this is based on numbers, not my opinion. I looked at the conference over the past 10 years or so, and there are 5 teams that are always represented in the championship game. That's how I determine who the top teams in the conference are. Not biased, not who I like, not who I don't like, but I looked at the list of CIAA champions over the last 10 years, and there were 5 teams that made all of the championship games and won all the champions. Well, one didn't win one, but they've been there, all right? And if you don't believe me, go to CIAA.com. It might not be CIAA.com, but go to the CIAA. You can get the list of champions all the way going back to 1912, right? And you'll see what I'm telling you is the truth. The fact of the matter is that in the last decade, Bowie State, Winston-Salem State, Fayetteville State, Virginia State, and Virginia Union. Those are the 5 teams that have won and been to all of the championship games, with the exception of Ciaa, which made one, which is no longer. Actually, I think Ciaa might have been once or twice. But either way, Ciaa is no longer in the conference. So of all the, traditional members of the CIAA, when you look at the past 10 years, once again, the teams that have been to all the championship games and won them outside of Ciaa, Virginia State, Virginia Union, Fayetteville State, Winston-Salem State, and Bowie State. And so those 5 teams are what I consider the top of the conference based on championship games and championship game appearances. So what is your record against them? So we know your overall record. We know your conference record. And now what is your record against the top of the conference? If you're 500, meaning you win half the games against those schools, that's 1 point. If you win 55%, 2 points. 56 or higher, 3 points, right? Now, here's another point system. Championship game appearances. If you go to the championship game but do not win, you get a point for going to the championship. If you win the championship, you get 2 points. Also, if you beat a ranked team, you get a point for that. So let's just say at the beginning of the season or middle of the season, you play a ranked team, a Division II ranked team out of conference, and you win that game. You get a point for beating a ranked team in the non-conference. If you win a playoff game, you get 2 points. And let me clear this up for anybody who asks. You don't get a ranked point and a playoff point for playoff wins. You just get the 2 points for winning the playoff game. All right? Just to clear that up. And so hopefully my numbers are as accurate as can be, but I got to be real. When I was doing the research, and it's a sidebar, CIAA schools, please make your information a lot more up to date and easier to get. Because there was a couple of schools where I looked at the coaching staff, and the coach's bio would say coach is entering his second year or his third year, and it wasn't his second year or his third year. Update the bios, please. Also, if you play a ranked Division II school in the non-conference and you win that game, when I look on your schedule online, going back, 5-10 years, it should say W versus number 18, UVAY, or whatever school it is. Put it out there that you beat a ranked team. Don't make it to where people have to look and search and find. No, that's a point of pride. Make sure you put that. That's a whole nother conversation, though. What we put on these websites, make sure it's up to date and flattering. Anyway, that's the criteria. Overall record, conference record, top of the conference record, championship game appearances, championships, ranked wins, and playoff wins. And once again, Coach Manigo is not ranked because this is his first year coaching. All right, so we're doing the top 10, even though there are 11 coaches. All right. Every day this week, there's going to be a new video going through the rankings. We're going to start at number 10 and go all the way to number 1. But once again, let me preface this. This is not bias. It's not opinion. It's not tearing anybody down. It's based on this criteria. What happened on the field? That's all it's based on. As we get higher in the list, there's going to be one person to where I think there could be a debate on whether or not they should be ranked higher over some technical reasons, but we're not even close to that, so we'll get to that. So be on the lookout, because this exact same time tomorrow, we're going to get to number 10. I think, it's pretty obvious who's going to be number 10. Once again, not based on anything personal, based on the numbers. So, see you guys tomorrow.